The Pink Tilapia Revolution. How backyard fish tanks are creating the next wave of millionaires. The first light of dawn spills across the surface of a backyard tank, turning the water into liquid glass. Each ripple catches the morning sun like a breath of life. You can hear the steady hum of an air pump, soft, rhythmic, alive, replacing the roar of tractors and the noise of the city. A young American homesteader steps out into the cool air, coffee in one hand, data monitor in the other. The backyard isn't filled with rows of crops or piles of soil. Instead, it's home to a single tank, shimmering, still, and full of motion. Beneath the surface, hundreds of pink goldfish glide in slow, synchronized rhythm, their bodies flashing like living coins under the sunlight. This isn't the old picture of farming. There's no mud, no sweat-soaked labor, no dependence on rain. It's quiet, clean, efficient, and it's alive. Each bubble rising from the diffuser is a heartbeat. Each movement of the fish is a small, silent revolution. Because this is not just farming, it's the art of mastering water itself. The old rules said you needed acres to make a living, that you had to wrestle with nature, pray for rain, and live at the mercy of the seasons. But the new generation of farmers, the waterpreneurs, have rewritten those rules. They've learned that wealth doesn't have to come from land. It can come from the one thing we've always taken for granted: water that never dies. Look closer. Every component of this small system, the filters, the pipes, the biomedia swirling inside, works together like the organs of a living creature. Waste becomes nutrition. Microbes transform the invisible into abundance. Water moves, breathes, and renews itself endlessly. It's not just recycling, it's regeneration. It's not just sustainability, it's sovereignty. This is the new face of modern agriculture: compact, intelligent, and circular. No chemicals, no antibiotics, no waste, just balance, the perfect harmony between biology and technology. The air smells clean, almost sweet. You can hear the soft buzz of the pump and the gentle plop of bubbles breaking the surface. Beneath it all, there's a pulse, the pulse of something alive, something evolving. For centuries, humans have chased fortune in fields and factories. But now, the revolution has come full circle, back to the backyard, back to simplicity, but armed with science. This young farmer isn't just feeding fish, he's managing data. He's not just raising livestock, he's raising efficiency. Every parameter, oxygen, pH, ammonia, shows up on his smartphone. The system whispers numbers, and he listens, adjusts, learns, grows. A single glance at the monitor tells him everything he needs to know. Water quality, perfect. Oxygen, stable. Growth, on track. He smiles, not the smile of someone guessing, but the calm confidence of someone in control. And that's what this is about: control, independence, and a return to something ancient made new again. What if your backyard could earn you thousands, not with soil, but with water? It's not just a question, it's a challenge. Because behind every shimmering tank like this, there's a simple truth, the same truth farmers in Asia, Africa, and now America are discovering: you don't need land to farm. You just need living water. The same water that once flowed through rivers now circulates endlessly through tanks. Purified and reborn, the same natural processes that powered ecosystems now power livelihoods. It's farming without boundaries, production without pollution, wealth without waste. And as the camera pans across the backyard, you see the reflection of the morning sun shimmering across the tank, a symbol of something bigger than profit. It's about freedom, about reclaiming control over food, over income, over the environment itself. In a world drowning in industrial excess, one small tank becomes a symbol of balance, of what's possible when innovation meets respect for nature. Forget Wall Street. This is Water Street, where every drop works for you. Because water, when guided by human intelligence and care, becomes more than a resource, it becomes a partner. It feeds, cleans, and grows. It never stops moving, never stops giving, never truly dies. Somewhere deep inside, we all long for a way to live that feels both modern and meaningful. A way to earn without destroying, to grow without depleting, to create without waste. This, right here, is that way. A simple tank, a humble pump, a few hundred fish. But behind it lies a vision, the vision of a world where farming is not a fight, but a flow. The farmer kneels beside the tank, watching the pink flashes beneath the surface. His reflection merges with the water. Half human, half habitat, he touches the surface lightly, and the fish swirl toward him, unafraid. That's the beauty of this model. It's not domination, but partnership. It's not about controlling nature, but collaborating with it. The future of farming is small, smart, and circular. It's about nurturing water that, in return, nurtures you. And as the light brightens, one sentence lingers like a mantra across the still air. When you keep your water alive, your dream never dies. The camera fades into the glittering pink glow beneath the surface, and the story begins. Introducing the star of this aquatic revolution. The pink tilapia, the humble fish turning everyday people into water-based entrepreneurs. Part 1: The Unsung Hero. Meet the pink tilapia. They call it the people's fish, humble, resilient, and quietly revolutionary. The pink tilapia doesn't roar for attention, it glides beneath the surface, working silently to rewrite what we think farming can be. For centuries, the story of aquaculture was a race for scale, bigger ponds, deeper lakes, sprawling farms. But the pink tilapia tells a different story. A story of efficiency, of intelligence, of evolution guided by both nature and human design. 1. Origin and evolution. Born from the Nile tilapia, one of the most adaptable fish species on Earth, the pink tilapia is a living testament to what happens when science and nature collaborate. Through years of careful selection and hybridization, farmers and biologists created a new strain, faster, stronger, more vibrant. Its shimmering pink hue isn't just aesthetic, it's symbolic, a mark of vitality, of abundance, of renewal. Introduced to Southeast Asia in the late 1990s, it quickly became the champion of small-scale aquaculture. It didn't demand massive ponds or complex infrastructure. All it needed was clean, recirculated water and a farmer willing to learn. From the bustling deltas of Vietnam to suburban backyards in California, the pink tilapia found a new home, anywhere humans had water, sunlight, and ambition. It thrives in urban garages, rooftop greenhouses, and off-grid homesteads powered by solar panels. It doesn't care where you live, city, desert, or swamp, as long as the water lives. It lives. The species became the biological bridge between developing and developed worlds. Easy enough for beginners, efficient enough for professionals. For farmers in the global south, it meant economic freedom. For Western homesteaders, it represented sustainability. In short, it's the democratic fish, accessible, forgiving, and profitable. 2. Traits and advantages. The secret behind the pink tilapia's rise lies in its adaptability. While most freshwater species demand near-perfect conditions, this one bends with nature. It thrives in temperatures between 77 and 89 degrees Fahrenheit, 25 to 32 degrees Celsius, a range that covers most tropical and subtropical climates. It can tolerate slightly saline or mildly acidic water, meaning it's not confined to ideal conditions. It's a smart omnivore, nature's minimalist eater. Give it high-quality pellets, kitchen greens, or even microbial floc from your Biofloc system, and it will convert them all into growth. That's how it slashes feed costs by 30 to 40%, the single biggest expense in aquaculture. And here's where it gets fascinating: it's peaceful. In a world where fish often turn aggressive in close quarters, the pink tilapia remains calm. No biting, no stress, no chaos. That makes it ideal for dense tank systems, where every gallon of water counts. Its biology seems almost engineered for efficiency. Fast growth. Ready for harvest in just 4 to 5 months. Consistent yield. 1.5 to 2.5 pounds per fish under proper care. Impressive productivity. Up to 25 to 30 tons per hectare per year in recirculating systems. Compare that with traditional pond farming, and it's not even close. The pink tilapia grows faster, survives longer, and turns feed into profit more efficiently than nearly any other freshwater species. It's also one of the most resilient species against disease. Its immune system, strengthened through decades of selective breeding, makes it less reliant on antibiotics or chemical treatments, a major win for clean, sustainable food production. Think of it as the Tesla of fish: smart, clean, efficient, and beautifully designed by evolution and innovation alike. 3. Culinary and market value. Beyond the tank, the pink tilapia has a story that chefs love to tell. Its flesh is firm, lean, and delicately pink-white, a perfect balance between aesthetic appeal and nutrition. With high protein and low fat, it's become a staple in restaurants, schools, hospitals, and even fitness meal kits. Its mild flavor allows it to adapt across cuisines. Pan-seared in butter for fine dining. Grilled over charcoal at backyard barbecues. Steamed with herbs for health-conscious eaters. Fried golden and crisp in family kitchens. Every culture finds its own version of the pink tilapia. In Asia, it's served whole as a symbol of luck and renewal. In America, it's filleted and frozen for convenience. And because it grows year-round, its price remains steady, typically around $1.50 to $2.20 per kilogram retail equivalent, depending on region. While other seafood prices crash with seasons or exports, pink tilapia's domestic demand keeps it balanced. Restaurants love it for reliability. Consumers love it for affordability. Farmers love it because they never have to gamble on the market. But there's another layer: symbolism. In Asian American households, the pink tilapia carries a feng shui meaning: prosperity in motion. Its color, a gentle rose gold, represents fortune, warmth, and longevity. Families often say, when pink fish swim in your home, good luck follows. That symbolism, paired with its practicality, has made it a cultural and economic phenomenon, not just a commodity, but a conversation piece. And for small farmers, that means one powerful advantage: a story to sell with every fish. 4. The hidden power. Here's the truth that most people miss: you're not just raising fish. You're raising water that creates wealth. The pink tilapia thrives because it teaches a principle that applies to every kind of success: balance. Balance between nature and technology. Between patience and precision. Between earning and giving back. When you nurture your water, the water nurtures your fish. When you keep your fish healthy, they keep your system stable. And when your system runs clean and efficient, your money flows like water itself. When you keep your water alive, your money stays alive too. That's not just a quote. It's a philosophy, one that's changing the face of small-scale aquaculture across the world. The pink tilapia isn't rare, it isn't exotic, but it's a quiet revolution, proof that you don't need to conquer nature to prosper. You just need to work with it. A single tank, a steady rhythm of bubbles, and a school of pink fish gliding through living water. That's not just farming. That's the sound of freedom echoing through the 21st century homestead. And as you watch them move in perfect harmony, you realize something profound. These fish aren't just surviving, they're thriving, just like the people who chose to believe that water could be the new gold. Part 2: Technology that turns water into gold. ROS and BIOFLOC. In the old world of farming, success was measured by how much land you owned. The bigger the field, the deeper the pond, the greater your fortune, or so people believed. But that era is fading fast. Because today, the equation has flipped. The smartest farmers aren't those who own the most land. They're the ones who understand how to make every drop of water count. In this new age of sustainable innovation, two technologies stand at the center of a quiet revolution: ROS, Recirculating Aquaculture System, and Biofloc. Together, they're not just changing how we raise fish, they're redefining what farming even means. Cyclone the revolution begins. For generations, aquaculture was tied to geography. Farmers depended on rivers, lakes, and ponds. Weather could destroy months of work. Rain turned clear water acidic. Heat robbed oxygen. Drought brought disaster. But the pioneers of modern aquaculture asked a radical question. What if we could take nature's processes, filtration, oxygenation, microbial balance, and compress them into one controllable system? That question gave birth to ROS, a system that doesn't fight nature, but simulates it, and to Biofloc, a microbial magic that transforms waste into life. The old mindset said, more land means more fish. The new reality says, more intelligence means more profit. Because technology, when used with understanding, can turn even a small backyard into a goldmine of living water. Wave ROS, Recirculating Aquaculture System. Imagine a system where water never dies, it simply keeps giving. That's ROS, a closed-loop aquaculture model designed to reuse up to 95% of its water. Instead of draining dirty water out into the environment, ROS purifies it, revitalizes it, and circulates it back into the tank, over and over again. Each loop of that circulation is like a breath, water in, waste out, life renewed. Inside a ROS setup, nothing is wasted. Every pipe, every chamber serves a purpose. Mechanical filters trap leftover feed, solid waste, and debris. Biological filters host colonies of beneficial bacteria that convert toxic ammonia and nitrites into harmless nitrates. UV or activated carbon chambers sterilize the water, ensuring a pathogen-free environment. By the time the water returns to the main tank, it's clean, oxygen-rich, and ready to sustain growth again. ROS farmers aren't just fish raisers, they're water engineers. They control temperature to optimize growth year-round, dissolved oxygen, DO, to maintain vitality, pH balance, to stabilize metabolic processes, flow rate, to mimic the gentle current fish naturally love. The result? Healthy fish, lower mortality, faster growth, zero dependency on weather. You can build a ROS tank in your garage, basement, or rooftop greenhouse. It doesn't matter if you live in the desert or downtown, RAS makes aquaculture possible anywhere. And the best part? It saves up to 90 to 95% of water compared to traditional ponds. Every drop recirculated is $1 earned, and a gallon of pollution prevented. The key takeaway is beautifully simple. You don't change water, you teach water to clean itself. Seedling Biofloc, microbial alchemy. If ROS is the lungs of modern aquaculture, Biofloc is the stomach. Where ROS purifies water through filtration, Biofloc transforms waste into food, literally turning pollution into nutrition. The system harnesses beneficial bacteria, primarily heterotrophic species, to consume fish waste, uneaten feed, and dissolved organic matter, but instead of discarding it, these microbes convert the waste into microscopic protein clumps known as flocs, a living soup rich in nutrients. And here's the genius. Fish actually eat these flocs. So the system feeds itself, reducing the need for commercial feed by 30 to 40%. Each golden brown particle drifting in the water is a microreactor of energy, constantly breaking down toxins and generating edible biomass. That's why, in a healthy Biofloc tank, the water takes on a warm, earthy, tea color. It's not dirty, it's alive. Fish raised in Biofloc environments develop stronger immune systems, faster growth rates, and higher resistance to disease. No antibiotics. No chemical disinfectants. No wastewater. Just nature's own recycling program, accelerated by human intelligence. And the results speak for themselves: clean-smelling tanks, thriving fish, and near-zero waste. Biofloc is more than a system, it's philosophy made visible. It teaches that in a balanced ecosystem, nothing is wasted, everything transforms. It's the living proof that sustainability doesn't have to mean compromise, it can mean abundance. Light bulb: the synergy of ROS plus Biofloc. ROS and Biofloc, while powerful alone, become unstoppable together. Think of ROS as the lungs that keep the system breathing, circulating and oxygenating. Think of Biofloc as the stomach that keeps it digesting, converting waste into new life. Together, they create a self-sustaining aquatic ecosystem, a miniature world where every element serves the next. ROS removes solids and toxins. Biofloc transforms dissolved waste into food. Both maintain stable water chemistry. Both eliminate the need for constant water exchange. The result? No foul odors. No pollution. No harmful discharge. Instead, you get water that grows stronger over time, a renewable asset, not a consumable one. And what's remarkable is that this system scales up and down seamlessly. A single-family backyard can run a small tank, while commercial farms can manage hundreds, all with the same principles. Every cycle of water is a cycle of income. Every bubble is an investment returning to you. That's why modern farmers often say, "We're not just raising fish, we're raising ecosystems." And from those ecosystems, profit grows, not from exploitation, but from balance. Blank. Underscore. Blank. Anti-clockwise arrows the clear difference. The difference between traditional pond farming and modern ROS Biofloc systems is nothing short of revolutionary. A conventional pond demands vast land, anywhere between 300 to 1,000 square meters, and gulps enormous volumes of water. Evaporation, seepage, and waste discharge make it both inefficient and unsustainable. In contrast, a ROS Biofloc system thrives in compact spaces as small as 15 to 50 square meters. It reuses nearly 90 to 95% of its water, proving that scale no longer determines success, intelligence does. In old-style ponds, fish mortality often reaches 30 to 40% due to poor oxygen control, unstable water chemistry, and disease outbreaks. Inside a ROS Biofloc setup, that number drops below 10%. The reason is simple: stability. Every parameter, oxygen, pH, ammonia, is measured, balanced, and corrected in real time. Growth time also tells the story. While fish in open ponds need 6 to 8 months to reach market size, fish in ROS tanks mature in just 4 to 5 months. Productivity effectively doubles, from about 2 tons per 100 square meters in pond culture to 4 tons under recirculating systems. Control is the final frontier. Traditional farming leaves you at the mercy of weather, water sources, and pests. ROS Biofloc gives you complete command: temperature regulation, oxygen management, filtration automation, even remote monitoring through sensors and mobile apps. In every measurable aspect: space, water use, mortality, speed, and yield, the ROS Biofloc method outperforms the old one. It replaces uncertainty with predictability, chaos with design. As one farmer put it beautifully, "You're not farming fish, you're farming ecosystems, and profit grows from balance." The contrast is striking, like comparing analog farming to digital precision. ROS Plus Biofloc doesn't just replace traditional methods, it transcends them. It lets you predict output, stabilize quality, and scale profit with scientific accuracy. Speech balloon the philosophy behind the technology. Technology in farming isn't about replacing people, it's about empowering them. Every filter, pump, and microbe in a ROS Biofloc system is a reflection of how humans can partner with nature rather than dominate it. In this partnership, the farmer isn't a laborer, he's a conductor, orchestrating the flow of life through water. That's why these systems have become the backbone of what experts now call biocircular aquaculture, farming models that recycle everything and waste nothing. From Bangladesh to Brazil, from rural Florida to urban Singapore, small farmers and tech innovators are adopting the same principle. Closed loops, open opportunities. Because when you master this balance, the system stops being just a farm, it becomes a living machine that feeds, cleans, and enriches itself. And that's the true beauty of it all. You're not farming fish, you're farming ecosystems, and profit grows from balance. In this new age of aquaculture, success is no longer measured in acres or tons, but in harmony. The more harmonious your system, the more sustainable your wealth. The revolution is already here, humming quietly in backyards, rooftops, and homesteads where water flows endlessly, alive and golden. The question is, will you be part of it? Part 3: The Modern Aquafarmer's Manual. If the Pink Tilapia is the hero of this story, then this is the playbook, the step-by-step system that turns water, knowledge, and discipline into profit. Modern aquafarming is no longer about luck or tradition. It's about precision. Every bubble, every reading, every movement in the tank is data, and every bit of data can mean the difference between stagnation and success. Here's how the new generation of waterpreneurs, from suburban America to rural Asia, build and run thriving microfarms that run 24/7. Quietly printing money in the form of fish. Step 1. Build the tank. Start small, but build smart. Your tank is the heart of your system, and like any heart, it needs strength, rhythm, and flow. A compact tank between 20 to 30 square meters, 215 to 320 square feet, with a depth of 4 to 5 feet is ideal. The floor should slope gently, about 3 to 5%, leading toward a central drain. That slight slope allows waste to settle and be flushed out efficiently. The material doesn't have to be fancy. Concrete, fiberglass, or heavy-duty plastic will all work. What matters most is durability and cleanliness. Now, here's the secret most beginners overlook: the filtration system. Your water will only ever be as healthy as your filter is strong. A proper 4-stage filtration setup turns your tank from a stagnant pool into a self-regulating ecosystem. Keycap 1. Sedimentation chamber, the trash can of your system. It traps uneaten feed, solid waste, and suspended particles. This is where gravity does the cleaning. Keycap 2. Mechanical filter. Think of it as your tank's sponge. It captures finer waste using filter brushes, foam, or fiber pads, preventing clogs and cloudiness. Keycap 3. Biological filter, the real magic. It's packed with bioballs, ceramic rings, or volcanic rock, materials where beneficial bacteria thrive. These bacteria quietly convert toxic ammonia and nitrites into nitrates, keeping your water safe. Keycap 4. Sterilization zone, the final line of defense. Here, you can use UV light or activated carbon to kill pathogens and polish the water before sending it back to the fish. Finally, ensure continuous aeration with air stones or diffusers. Oxygen is life. Your fish and your microbes both depend on it. Keep the bubbles dancing day and night. When done right, your tank doesn't just hold water, it breathes it. Step 2. Stocking. Once your water system is alive and stable, it's time to bring in the stars, your fish. Start with healthy, uniform fingerlings about 3 to 4 inches long. They should be active, shiny, and free of deformities or white spots. Never rush this step. Bad stock is like bad seed, it ruins everything. The density depends on your system type. Biofloc system, 60 to 80 fish per square meter. Ross system, 40 to 60 fish per square meter. Before release, let them acclimate. Float the bags in your tank for 10 to 15 minutes so temperatures equalize. Then slowly add small amounts of tank water to the bag every few minutes. When the water feels uniform, gently release the fish. This simple ritual prevents shock and saves lives. Small effort, huge reward. Once the fish are in, observe quietly for an hour. Active swimming, smooth breathing, and light feeding interest mean you've done it right. Step 3. Water parameters. In aquaculture, water isn't just the environment, it's the product. When your water thrives, everything else follows. Here are your golden metrics. pH, 6.5 to 8.5. Dissolved oxygen, DO, greater than 4 milligrams per liter. Temperature, 25 to 32 degrees Celsius, 77 to 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Ammonia, nitrogen trihydride, less than 0.02 milligrams per liter. Think of these numbers as the vital signs of your tank. If pH drops below 6.5, add a light dose of agricultural lime, calcium carbonate. If oxygen dips, increase aeration or add backup air stones. If the water becomes cloudy or smelly, add Bacillus probiotics and a splash of molasses to reactivate your Biofloc community. Change only 10 to 15% of water per week. Never more. Sudden changes kill your microbial balance. This isn't a pond, it's a living system. Stability beats freshness every time. And once your bacteria colony stabilizes, the system becomes nearly bulletproof. Step 4. Feeding protocol. Feeding fish is both art and science. Too little, they starve. Too much, they poison their own home. Feed 2 to 3 times a day, ideally in the morning and late afternoon. Use high-quality floating pellets, 28 to 30% protein. They allow you to monitor consumption easily. Feed rate: 3 to 5% of total fish biomass per day. If your fish weigh a combined 20 kg, feed around 600 to 1,000 grams daily, divided into meals. Add natural supplements to supercharge growth and immunity. Chopped greens, like spinach or duckweed. Garlic or turmeric powder, natural antibiotics. Probiotics to enhance digestion. Vitamin C for stress resistance. You'll know you're doing it right when the fish rise eagerly at feeding time. Water stays clear, and no excess feed sinks to the bottom. Smart farmers keep a feeding diary, recording every portion, every reaction. Over time, you'll learn to read your fish the way a pilot reads the wind. Step 5: Health monitoring. Healthy fish move with grace, smooth, steady, alert. Sick fish move like ghosts, sluggish, pale, withdrawn. Your job as a modern aquafarmer is to become fluent in the language of water and motion. Every day, observe their color, appetite, and swimming patterns. Listen for irregular splashing or gasping near the surface, signs of low oxygen. Every week, test pH, DO and ammonia using a water test kit. Clean filters and check airflow. Every month, add a fresh dose of Bacillus probiotics and molasses to maintain your Biofloc population. Inspect the tank walls and base, no algae buildup, no residue. If you notice symptoms like white spots, clamped fins, or erratic movement, act fast. Separate the sick fish into a quarantine tank. Add salt, 3 to 5 ppt, or herbal remedies like garlic or ginger extract. Avoid antibiotics unless absolutely necessary. The secret to longevity in this business is simple: prevent, don't cure. When your water stays alive, you rarely need medicine, because the system itself becomes the immune system. Step 6: Harvest. After 4 to 5 months, your pink tilapia are ready. Their bodies gleam with silver-pink shine. Their movements are calm but powerful. On harvest day, stop feeding 24 hours in advance. This clears the gut, improving meat quality and preventing cloudy water. Drain the tank gradually, allowing fish to gather at the center. Use soft nets to avoid injury. Bruised skin reduces value. An average harvest produces fish between 0.8 to 1.2 kilograms, 1.7 to 2.6 pounds each. Perfect market size for fresh or fillet sale. As you lift the first basket, you'll realize something profound. You've turned water into wealth, one breath at a time. And here's the beauty of it: you don't throw away that water. You reuse it. The nutrient-rich water that raised your fish can feed another life, vegetables, herbs, or fruit trees. This is the magic of aquaponics, where fish feed plants, and plants clean the water for fish. Your small backyard system suddenly becomes a micro-ecosystem producing 2 harvests instead of 1. Protein from fish. Produce from plants. It's the ultimate expression of balance, nature's economy in perfect form. The essence of modern aquafarming. Running a Ross Biofloc system isn't about building fancy tanks or buying expensive gear. It's about understanding life itself. Every filter, every bubble, every microbe plays a role in a symphony of renewal. The more you listen, the more fluent you become in that harmony. Modern aquafarmers are not just caretakers, they are engineers of life. Blending science, patience, and intuition into a daily ritual of creation. And in return, the system rewards them, not just with income, but with independence. Because when your water is alive, you're not just feeding fish, you're feeding your freedom. Moneybag Part 4: Real Stories. Real Profits. The beauty of this revolution is that it doesn't belong to billion-dollar corporations or government-funded labs. It belongs to ordinary people, men and women who dare to see water not as something that drains away, but as something that returns. These are the real faces of modern aquaculture. People who turned backyards into blue gold mines. People who proved that farming is no longer defined by acres, but by ideas. Keycap 1: From factory worker to fish engineer. 10 years ago, Nam Tran worked in a metal factory, standing 12 hours a day beside a conveyor belt in unbearable heat. His paycheck barely covered rent. He dreamed of freedom, not wealth, just independence. One afternoon, scrolling on his phone during a break, he stumbled upon a video about recirculating fish systems. The concept was simple: water reuse, filtered by bacteria, zero waste. He couldn't shake it off. 2 months later, he quit his job, with only $1 in savings. He built 3 small tanks behind his house using leftover concrete, PVC pipes, and a second-hand air pump. He stocked them with a few thousand pink tilapia fingerlings, fish he'd only seen in markets before. Neighbors laughed. "You can't raise fish without a pond," they said. But he wasn't chasing tradition, he was chasing transformation. 5 months later, Nam harvested 4 tons of fish, earning a net profit of $3. It wasn't just money, it was proof. Proof that intelligence could replace land. The following year, he expanded to 10 tanks, added solar panels, and built his own Biofloc culture chamber. Today, he employs local youth, selling fresh tilapia directly to restaurants and local co-ops. Nam calls himself a fish engineer, not a farmer. His success isn't luck, it's logic. He often tells visitors, "I don't raise fish, I raise water, and the water raises me." And that philosophy has now found its way across the Pacific, inspiring a new generation of American backyard innovators. Keycap 2. Golden water in acidic soil, the Louisiana pioneer. In the bayous of southern Louisiana, where the soil is too acidic for most crops, a man named David Simmons saw opportunity where others saw swamp. His family's land had always been wet, muddy, and useless for farming. But to him, that wasn't a problem, it was potential. He watched videos on sustainable aquaculture, built his own 3 Ross tanks behind his cabin using locally sourced materials, and started raising pink tilapia. He didn't need wells or irrigation. The rainwater collected from his roof became his reservoir. He filtered it through a homemade Biofloc setup, barrels filled with bioballs and aerated by recycled air stones. The result was astonishing. Each 500 square foot space produced over a ton of fish every 5 months, netting him $15 per year, from land most people had written off as worthless. The best part? The water from his tanks irrigated a small hydroponic garden of lettuce and peppers. Fish waste became plant food. Plants cleaned the water. Zero discharge, zero waste, zero bills. David laughs when people call him a hobby farmer. A hobby doesn't pay your bills, but water sure does. He now teaches local veterans and retirees how to build backyard systems for under $2. His model has become known in Louisiana's farmer circles as the Golden Water Project. It's not just a business, it's a movement, turning forgotten land into flowing prosperity. Keycap 3. The student startup, Smart Fish, Smarter Farmer. In a university dorm room in Austin, Texas, a student named Ethan Carter was finishing his senior year in environmental engineering. While most of his classmates were designing bridges or software, Ethan was obsessed with fish. His final year research project? How IoT can optimize recirculating aquaculture systems. He set up a mini Ross tank in his garage, 6 feet across, running on sensors that monitored pH, oxygen, and temperature in real time. Whenever a parameter drifted off range, his phone buzzed with an alert. He wasn't a farmer by background, but he spoke the new language of aquaculture, data. After graduation, he turned that experiment into a micro-business called Smart Waters. He began selling affordable IoT sensor kits to small farmers, devices that synced with phones, allowing even beginners to manage water quality like professionals. Meanwhile, his own tank was quietly producing $500 a month in profit, enough to pay rent and college loans. His quote to his friends became famous: "I didn't grow up on a farm, but my water works harder than most fields." Ethan represents the future, a generation that combines sustainability with technology, turning the ancient art of fish farming into a digital craft. Keycap 4. ROI breakdown, turning data into dollars. These stories aren't isolated miracles, they're proof of a repeatable, measurable system that anyone can follow. When you control your water, you control your wealth. For those just starting out, a small tank of about 20 square meters can produce between 300 and 400 kilograms of fish every 4 to 5 months. Even at this learning stage, the farmer earns a net profit of roughly $250 to $300 per cycle, not much in absolute numbers, but enough to understand the system and build confidence. When the operation expands to 50 square meters, things begin to stabilize. At that size, yields climb to around 700 kilograms per cycle, and the net income reaches about $500 to $600 every 5 months, a steady, reliable side income for any household. Larger backyard setups, roughly 100 square meters, can generate about 1.5 tons of fish per cycle. With partial automation for aeration and feeding, such systems often clear more than $1,000 in profit, all while running with minimal labor and consistent efficiency. And for those who dream a little bigger, semi-commercial farms covering around 500 square meters can harvest close to 8 tons every 5 months. These integrated ROS systems, when managed properly, bring in between $4,000 and $6,000 in net profit per cycle. Across all scales, the message is clear. Success in this model is not about size, it's about optimization. The smaller your system, the smarter your management needs to be, and the smarter you get, the higher your returns become. Biofloc keeps feed costs down. ROS keeps the water alive. Technology keeps every parameter visible, measurable, and controllable. Together, they create a cycle of growth that no longer depends on luck, only on logic. When you learn to read your water like a business ledger, every ripple tells you where your money is flowing. That's why modern aquafarmers often say, with a proud smile, the smaller the water, the smarter the farmer. The secret isn't in the size of your tank, it's in the quality of your cycle. Biofloc keeps feed costs low. ROS keeps water alive. Technology keeps everything measurable and predictable. When you know your system, you no longer depend on luck, you depend on logic. Keycap 5 Beyond Profit, the ripple effect. What makes these stories powerful isn't just the income, it's the impact. Each of these farmers created something larger than themselves, a ripple effect that changes families, communities, and even the planet. Nam gave jobs to locals who once struggled to find work. David turned wasteland into a source of healthy food for his town. Ethan built a bridge between academia and agriculture, inspiring other young innovators to merge coding with cultivation. In a time when industrial farming drains rivers and pollutes oceans, these small-scale pioneers are proving that prosperity and preservation can coexist. Their farms don't just feed people, they teach a philosophy. You don't need more, you just need smarter. And that's the essence of the movement sweeping across America, Asia, and beyond, micro farms with macro impact. Keycap 6 The takeaway. Stand at the edge of a small, humming tank. Listen to the rhythm of bubbles, the shimmer of fins, the hum of air pumps. You'll realize this isn't just aquaculture, it's liquid entrepreneurship. A single tank can pay a family's bills. A cluster of tanks can fund a business. A community of tanks can transform an economy. The formula is simple. Water plus knowledge plus persistence equals freedom. And as these real-life pioneers have proven again and again, you don't need to be rich to start. You don't even need land. You just need courage to see opportunity where others see limitation. Because in the end, the richest farmers of tomorrow won't be the ones with the largest ponds, but the ones who understand this one truth. The smaller the water, the smarter the farmer. Part 5 Mindset and Strategy for the Modern Farmer. In the age of intelligent farming, technology is only half the equation. The other half lies in mindset, how you think, plan, and act. Because even the best system will fail under the wrong mindset, and even the simplest setup can thrive under the right one. The modern farmer is no longer just a producer of food, they are a strategist, a brand, and an entrepreneur of water. Keycap 1 Shift the mindset, from farmer to waterpreneur. Traditional farmers plant seeds and wait. Waterpreneurs design systems, measure results, and scale. This is the key shift, thinking not like a laborer, but like a startup founder. Each tank is no longer just a container of fish, it's a micro-business unit. Each system has revenue, cost, and growth potential. You plan it like a business. Estimate input costs, feed, energy, maintenance. Track output, growth rate, survival rate, yield. Analyze ROI per tank. Then duplicate the winning model. That's how you scale, not by guessing, but by modeling. A farmer looks at his fish and says, "They're growing well." A waterpreneur looks at his tank and says, "They're growing 8% faster this month because my oxygen control improved by 0.5 milligrams per liter." See the difference? It's the same fish, but a different mindset, one emotional, the other analytical. In the new world of sustainable farming, intelligence is the most valuable input. Keycap 2 Discipline and data, the profit compass. Success in aquaculture doesn't come from working harder, it comes from tracking smarter. Water quality, feeding, weather, and behavior, every detail matters. Each number tells a story about your system's health and profitability. Keep a daily logbook or digital spreadsheet with these essentials: pH, temperature, dissolved oxygen, feed amount, fish mortality, water clarity, flock color, any signs of stress or disease. At the end of each week, summarize your findings. How many kilograms gained? How much feed consumed? What was the feed conversion ratio, FCR? That ratio, how much feed it takes to produce 1 kilogram of fish, is your compass. Keep it low, and you're making money. Let it rise, and your profits dissolve like salt in water. Data is the mirror of truth. It doesn't flatter, it doesn't lie. If your fish aren't growing, your data will show you why. If your profits dip, your logbook will whisper the answer. In the digital age, farmers who don't measure will always lose to those who do. As the saying goes, without data, you're not farming, you're gambling. Keycap 3 Expansion Path. From tank to brand. Once your system runs smoothly, don't rush to expand your space, expand your value. There are 2 directions you can grow. Horizontally, by adding more tanks. Vertically, by adding more value to each kilogram you produce. Horizontal expansion means scaling capacity, building multiple tanks, automating feeding, hiring helpers, and forming small cooperatives. Vertical expansion means scaling brand and product. Turn raw fish into fillets, frozen portions, smoked products, or marinated ready-to-cook meals. Each layer of value increases your profit margin by 50 to 200%. But the real power lies in branding. Create your own identity, a clean, trusted name that tells your story. Examples: The Clean Fish Co., Pure Water Tilapia, Smart Tank Seafood. Design simple packaging. Add a QR code linking to your farm's website or YouTube channel. Let customers see how their fish were raised in clean, recirculated water with 0 antibiotics. When people can trace their food back to a real face and a sustainable process, they don't just buy, they believe. That belief builds loyalty, and loyalty builds wealth. Keycap 4 Tech Tools for the Small Farmer. You don't need expensive gadgets, just smart investments. A few affordable technologies can make the difference between stress and stability. IoT sensors. Monitor pH, DO and temperature from your phone. Timers and controllers. Automate feeding and aeration schedules. Remote cameras. Watch fish behavior even when you're away. Solar pumps. Cut energy costs by 60 to 80%. These tools don't just save time, they save lives. A single night without oxygen can wipe out months of work. A $200 sensor system can alert you before disaster strikes. Think of it this way. If every tank is a business, then your gadgets are your employees, they work while you sleep. Technology is no longer optional, it's your insurance policy against uncertainty. The modern farmer's toolkit fits in a backpack, but its impact reaches the world. Keycap 5 Collaboration equals growth. Farming alone can be lonely. Competing farmers survive, but collaborating farmers thrive. The future belongs to networks, not individuals. Form or join local cooperatives, groups of small farmers who buy feed and equipment in bulk, lower prices by 10 to 20%. Share transportation and cold storage, reducing logistics costs. Sell under one brand name, building stronger market presence. Together, you become a force. A network of 10 farmers can access contracts with supermarkets that a single farmer could never reach. Co-ops also attract government grants, university partnerships, and eco-certifications faster than individuals. And beyond economics, collaboration creates community, people who share knowledge, support, and innovation. Because no matter how advanced your system is, success still grows faster when shared. One tank feeds a family, 10 tanks feed a village, 100 tanks feed the future. KeyCap 6 Sustainability is strategy. In today's market, sustainability isn't charity, it's marketing. Customers don't just want food, they want meaning. They want to know their choices help the planet. That's why the best farmers turn eco-consciousness into a brand advantage. A closed-loop ROS Biofloc system produces no antibiotics, no chemical discharge, no waste. Those three phrases, no antibiotics, no pollution, no waste, are more powerful than any advertising campaign. They represent trust, transparency, modern ethics. When you print them on your packaging or website, you're not just selling fish, you're selling a vision of a better world. And the market rewards that. Eco-labeled products now sell 20 to 40% higher in value-conscious markets. Especially in the US, Canada, and Europe. Your sustainability isn't just a responsibility, it's your competitive edge. Because when consumers choose between two products, one ordinary, one ethical, they almost always choose purpose. The modern farmer's mindset in one sentence. A modern aquafarmer is not defined by how much water they use, but by how much value they extract from every drop. They think like scientists, operate like entrepreneurs, and live like environmental stewards. The world doesn't need more farmers, it needs waterpreneurs. Creators of balance, profit, and progress, all swimming in the same tank of possibility. So, when you look into your shimmering water tomorrow morning, remember, every ripple carries the reflection of your mindset. Keep it calm, clean, and consistent, and success will always flow back to you. Part 6: The New Generation of Smart Farmers. A quiet revolution is unfolding, one not led by governments or corporations, but by individuals. They are young, connected, and fearless. They come from cities, suburbs, and small towns. They are not defined by tradition, but by innovation. They are the waterpreneurs of tomorrow, farmers who code, students who grow, engineers who farm. KeyCap 1 Waterpreneurs of Tomorrow. This new generation doesn't see farming as a hardship, they see it as an opportunity for freedom. They design systems instead of fields. They raise ecosystems instead of crops. They use data the way their grandparents used intuition. They are proof that the line between science and soil is gone forever. In their hands, a backyard tank becomes a micro-laboratory of life. Every pump, every bubble, every data point is part of a living experiment in sustainability. They represent something bigger than profit. They are symbols of self-reliance and environmental responsibility. A young engineer in Denver sets up a solar-powered ROS to grow fish and vegetables for his neighborhood. A group of students in Manila builds a portable aquaponic system for low-income families. A single mother in Kenya sells tilapia fillets and organic lettuce from her rooftop greenhouse, funding her children's education. Different stories, one heartbeat, living water. These modern farmers are not escaping the system. They're building a better one, transparent, efficient, and regenerative. They are rewriting the definition of success. Not how much you own, but how much you sustain. KeyCap 2 The Power of Storytelling. In the digital age, people don't just buy food, they buy stories. Your system, your fish, your journey, they all matter. Because behind every tank lies a narrative of transformation, from soil to sensor, from sweat to sustainability. When customers see your hands cleaning a filter, your children feeding the fish, or your vegetables thriving from recycled water, they connect. Show your process, show your mistakes, show your growth. The beauty of storytelling is that authenticity sells faster than perfection. You don't need a fancy film crew. All you need is your phone and your truth. Post your journey on YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook. Share how you built your tank, balanced your pH, or celebrated your first harvest dinner with friends. That transparency builds trust, and trust builds your market. In a world drowning in fake marketing, honesty is the new currency. So, tell your story. Because when people feel your passion, they're not just buying fish, they're buying a piece of your purpose. Keycap 3: Build your brand online. The internet has erased the boundaries between farmer and consumer. Today, you don't need a middleman, you need a presence. Start your own channel on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. Document everything: the construction, the feeding, the testing, the harvest. Turn your progress into a story of empowerment. Label your product with pride. Ross-raised, antibiotic-free, sustainable tilapia. Those words tell the world who you are. Consumers don't want mystery fish from giant corporations. They want traceability, food with a face, a name, a location. By showing your journey online, you create a digital handshake with your customers. Every view, every comment, every message becomes an invitation to trust you. And trust turns into premium pricing. A farmer who posts weekly videos of his clean system and healthy fish can sell 20 to 30% higher than competitors, simply because people see the value. Your brand isn't just your logo, it's your transparency. And in this new era, transparency isn't optional, it's the foundation of success. Keycap 4: From local to global. Once your brand takes root, the world opens up. Farmers who once sold at small-town markets now ship to eco-conscious restaurants, co-ops, and health stores. Online marketplaces let small producers compete globally, not through scale, but through story and sustainability. There's massive export potential in niche sectors. Ethnic markets seeking authentic Asian, African, and Latin fish varieties. Eco-food chains demanding certified sustainable protein. Restaurants eager for local, antibiotic-free seafood. The US alone imports billions in farmed fish each year, most from countries still using outdated methods. That's the opportunity for local Ross farmers to become the clean, domestic alternative. Partnerships with chefs, organic grocers, and subscription meal kits can multiply your impact. Even small farms can integrate into larger supply networks, each one becoming a node in the global web of responsible aquaculture. From your backyard to the global plate, that's not a dream anymore. It's the direction the tide is flowing. Keycap 5: The legacy message. At the core of this entire movement lies a timeless truth: water is life, and those who master it master the future. When you learn to keep water alive, it rewards you endlessly with food, income, and purpose. You become more than a farmer. You become a custodian of balance. You feed your family and protect your environment. You produce food without polluting. You earn income without exploitation. And that makes you part of something greater, a generation that refuses to choose between prosperity and planet. As one farmer in Oregon said after switching to a Biofloc system, "I realized I wasn't raising fish anymore. I was raising the future." That's what this journey is about, not tanks, not filters, not even profit. It's about legacy. The legacy of humans learning to live in harmony with water again. Because when water lives, everything else follows: growth, stability, peace. And that's why, as this revolution spreads across backyards and rooftops, from villages to cities, it carries a message that will echo for generations. When you master living water, you don't just raise fish, you raise the future. The dawn of the waterpreneur has begun, and the current is unstoppable. The morning sun spills gently over the tank, scattering light across the water's surface like tiny sparks of gold. A soft ripple moves outward, slow, deliberate, alive. In that reflection, the young farmer sees more than fish. He sees his future, steady, bright, and breathing. The world around him is still waking up, cars humming, birds calling, but here, by the tank, there's peace. The hum of the aerator fills the air like a heartbeat. The water glimmers, perfectly clear. Beneath it, hundreds of pink tilapia glide in rhythm, each movement a silent promise that life, when cared for, always gives back. He takes a deep breath and smiles, not the hurried smile of ambition, but the calm one of understanding, because he knows now what it truly means to farm in the 21st century. It's not about owning land, it's about owning balance. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. It's not about controlling nature, it's about coexisting with it. The camera drifts upward, showing the whole picture. A modest backyard, a few tanks, a couple of green plants filtering sunlight. It's not a scene of grandeur, it's a portrait of possibility. All across the world, others like him are waking up to the same vision in city rooftops, desert towns, mountain villages, and quiet suburban corners. They are all connected by a single thread: living water. Because water doesn't care about borders or backgrounds. It flows wherever there's life, and life, when guided with intention, becomes prosperity. So, if you're standing at the edge of your dream, wondering if you can start, if it's too small, if it's worth it, remember this. You don't need acres of land, just a few square meters and a dream. Dreams don't need space, they need commitment. Every great system started with one bucket, one tank, one brave decision to begin. And when you begin, even in the smallest way, you join a global current, a movement of people turning simplicity into sustainability, passion into profit, and water into wealth. Because the secret isn't in the equipment, or even the fish, it's in the mindset. Those who keep their water alive, keep their dreams alive. Start small, learn daily, keep your water alive, and your dream will never die. The screen fades to blue. A faint reflection of the farmer's smile lingers on the water. Then the message appears, bold, hopeful, and true. Subscribe to the Farmer's Alley for more sustainable farming blueprints. Share your story, because one small tank can change a whole community. The final ripple fades, the tank returns to stillness. And somewhere, across the world, another dream begins, with one person, one idea, and one drop of living water.